Loneliness and the importance of being in contact with others. Loneliness resulting from isolation can be extremely painful. But what can you do about it? Loneliness and social isolation are not the same. Loneliness can have devastating effects on our health. On the other hand, social isolation, when desired, can bring calm and peace in the midst of chaos. Loneliness, however, occurs when we want to be in contact with others, but are unable to. In fact, loneliness can destroy everything. It is the all-consuming fire that destroys all green leaves of hope. Those who suffer the most from the consequences of loneliness are the elderly. This means that it is extremely important to distinguish between loneliness and social isolation. Loneliness is a feeling. As such, it is experienced when we are faced with certain situations. It refers to the perceived quality of our relationships and is never desired. Although it also occurs in other population groups, it is the elderly who are most at risk of experiencing loneliness. This population group also experiences social isolation with greater intensity. Social isolation, loneliness. Loneliness is a powerful health deteriorating factor. In fact, it plays as relevant a role in suicidal behavior as depression. There are several differences between loneliness and social isolation. Social isolation. Social isolation is an objective measure of the number of contacts we have. You can choose to have a small or larger number of contacts and can always reduce or increase them as you wish. Therefore, social isolation is not necessarily either good or bad. As an example, it can be good when you actively seek to be alone to disconnect from the outside world and look into yourself. If it's solitude you want, it's not a problem. Isabel Adelanto. Loneliness when you want to be in contact with others. Loneliness often cannot be seen with the eyes. You can feel lonely even when you are surrounded by other people. Loneliness burns into your soul even when you are with others. It's devastating because even when you're with other people, it's the kind of relationship that isn't very close. Therefore you perceive them as empty. Intimacy between two people in a relationship, like friendship, usually refers to skin-to-skin contact, e.g. a hug. It also refers to the kind of intimacy that involves mind-to-mind contact, such as to share fears and desires. Disengagement theory. As mentioned, social isolation, although it can cause loneliness, can also be positive when you seek to isolate yourself from others, providing a sense of peace instead of loneliness. According to the disengagement theory, older people stop doing certain activities as a result of aging. Among these is their relationship with society. This actually happens with some frequency in retirement. It happens because the person literally overnight stops working and socializing with his colleagues. The National Institute on Aging has published guidance that contains several recommendations for dealing with the loneliness that results from social isolation in the later stages of life. How to deal with loneliness. There are various strategies that can be used when loneliness tries to get you down. To begin with, put yourself first. Here are 2 basic strategies for self-care. Motion. Life is movement. Therefore, continued movement in your everyday life can help you. In addition, exercise is a strong protective factor for health, both physical and mental. Take care of your sleep. Sleep, both lack and excess, usually has negative effects. However, there are other strategies that can help you reduce loneliness. The goal is to rebuild your universe of relationships that may be suffering from it. If you miss being in touch with others, connect with significant others. Although you may experience some reluctance when building new relationships, it's never too late. In fact, the relationships built in old age can be richer, deeper, and more intimate than those built earlier in life. Your connection with others is characterized by the meaning you give to the relationships. This connection and meaning can become truly intimate. Also, doing activities that have a purpose can add meaning to your life, even more if you do them with other people. You can e.g. join a club or association where there are activities such as reading books, watching films, critical analysis of news, debates and public speeches, gardening, etc. Volunteering is also a good option. In fact, helping other people helps you. It is one of the beneficial effects that prosocial behavior has on mental health. People who live a lonely life always have something on their mind that they want to talk about and on check off. If you experience loneliness but want to be in contact with others, it is important that you reconnect with the world and rebuild the social network that you have lost. In today's society, technology has become a constant part of many people's lives. By making use of video conferencing, you can shorten the way to get in touch with others. It opens windows for you to come into contact with people from all over the world.